What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and we're diving back into the Iron Twins Fortress. It is the Spirit Affinity boss this time. We've worked our way up to stage 15, so I wanted to share the team that I'm using here that's allowing me to complete this. Now, when we get through the end of this run, we'll go take a look at the gear and the individual champions here. To kind of mirror a little bit the team we used in the other video. We did keep Mithrala in the lead for that accuracy aura. It's very big here, so we don't have to build our other champions out so much with the accuracy. And we are still using Geomancer here, even though it is negative affinity for him. He is still very effective at landing that HP burn and getting the Iron Twins boss down pretty quickly here. Now we are going to bring in Helicath, who is a great champion. We'll go into his gear and build a little bit more later. He's kind of in that damage mitigation role to help us survive a little bit longer. We brought in Raglan for our cleanser and also any type of revive we might need. She's not quite as effective as Doom Priest, but we do need to revive once in a while in case Geomancer does go down. She's able to bring him back. And then kind of a cool champion we also brought in here is Lord Champfort. He's got a really strong kit for this boss. He's got the decreased accuracy, decreased speed, and decreased defense on his A1, which can allow everybody else to do a little bit more damage, but we'll go into all that a little bit later here in the video. Right now we're just trying to keep working on different teams that we are fairly consistent at bringing this boss down at level 15, so we can farm that with our 6 keys each day once it does come around to that. So we managed to figure out Force and now also the Spirit Affinity, which is good. We're going to work on teams for the other 2 affinities as well once those come out. And just interesting how this is working out here. Even with being able to put in 6 keys on the level 15 boss, it's still going to be kind of tough to take advantage of this awakening system, unfortunately. I was actually talking with HD60 today, and we both kind of were talking about how it's interesting. It appears that it's actually more effective to actually buy the packs that have the soul stones in them than it is to farm, because the drop rate and the amount of currency that you get from farming the boss just is not worth it. And it's just not worth putting the 150 gems in and wasting the energy on extra keys to try to get more of that currency. It's just going to take a long time to get anybody going with this awakening system, which is kind of unfortunate. But you did see there that Geomancer did drop down. Raglan actually did revive him, and we're still going to be fine here. We're still going to be able to complete this run. I have had this team fail once or twice, but overall it works pretty well. But we're going to come down to the end of the run here, so after this we will go ahead and jump in and take a look at the champions and their gear. Alright guys, here we are in our champion roster. We're going to take a look at the gear and the champions that we were using for this run on the Iron Twins. Now, first up we do have Raglan here, who I brought in mainly for her cleansing and also to get off that revive if we do need it. Sometimes Geomancer, since he has negative affinity there, can take a little bit of a beating and he may go down. But you can take a look at her stats here. We are running her in an untouchable set and also the 2-piece set from Bommel. And what's crazy is even at 557 resistance, she's still getting that debuff from the boss, which is just absolutely nuts. It's kind of hard to build her any higher than that with the gear that we have, although we haven't really done much with her gear in a long time. We did kind of build her a while back. You can take a look at her masteries here, and she is fully booked. I got her pretty early on. She's one of my favorite champions that I have. She's very versatile and useful in a lot of different areas of the game, just mainly because she does have this revive on a ridiculous 2-turn cooldown, 75% HP, and a full turn meter, so they can take a turn as soon as they come back. So pretty strong revive on a very short cooldown. She's got a nice cleanse here, although unfortunately it is on a 4-turn cooldown, so Doom Priest is actually a little bit better in the cleansing role, since it's basically every single time that she takes a turn. And then this turn meter fill on the A1 is pretty nice too, going to let you take some extra turns there. Mithrala is the same as she was before. We haven't done anything different with her. Now, we did bring in Lord Champfort this time, and this is another guy who's getting a lot of play lately. I'm seeing a lot of videos popping up about him and how great he is for this content and how he's like seeing a resurgence and how good he is. I gotta be honest, I've always thought Champfort was an amazing champion. The guy's got a really strong kit. I used him a lot on my free-to-play account, so that's where I really kind of found his value. This guy can do so much. He can solo Nightmare 12/7. He can solo the Scarab King. He's not a popular option because a lot of people would go for Vergis ahead of him, but he is an option if you do have him, putting him in a destroy set with some regeneration. Or not regeneration, mortal gear on the 2-piece there with the destroy set. He can do pretty strongly with that. So we actually did kind of tweak his gear a little bit. I did have to drop his crit rate down. I had him near 100% crit rate, but I had to drop that down in order to get his accuracy high enough to where he'd be able to work here. So we have him at 486, and then remember we're getting that 80 accuracy from Mithrala's aura, so that's helping us out quite a bit here. And I actually haven't booked him on this account yet, which is kind of surprising. It's just when you have a lot more legendaries, it's harder to get books into them. I did book him on my free-to-play account because he is so good. If you don't need the accuracy aura, he actually has a great aura for this, 50% HP, which is pretty huge. Another reason he's such a good dungeon carry as well, if you're progressing through the game. But just an overall kit, he's just got some great skills. He's got a decreased defense on the A1, which is very handy. He's got an attack, all the decreased accuracy, and a decreased attack. So he's also really good in the Hydra. You can also use this, if you really need somebody to help you out with Clan Boss, you're coming up through the game and you've got Champ Fort, he's also really good there. And then he's got his passive here, which gives him his own shield, which is what kind of helps him out with Scarab King. And then he also will do the 15% decreased speed debuff for whichever enemy attacks him. So that can prevent your enemy from taking turns, slow down their turn meter regeneration. So overall, just a really solid kit on him. And I can show you his masteries here. Kind of just a general build. We've got him going down to War Master to do damage in PvE content mainly, but really great champion. And I'm kind of glad that a lot of other people are now realizing that this guy is pretty good, because he's been good for a long time. And I think just because he's so old, as an older legendary, he does kind of get ignored. And again, he's actually not too book heavy, which is kind of the cool thing about some of the older champions in this game. Like Norog, again, is another good one, where he only needs like 7 books to book out all his skills, and he's got a really good kit. So again, with Champ Fort, your book value is pretty high there. But we have him in all perception gear, basically, again, just trying to hit those really high accuracy thresholds for this boss. You're going to probably need some pretty good accuracy or perception gear. This set obviously has always been good, but right now it's definitely at a premium for trying to get through this content. Now, we did bring in Helicath as well. This guy is really great. One of the fusions we had that was really, really solid. And just his kit, again, is really good for this boss. He does a lot of things pretty well. Just a general look at his stats here. We got him at 5,400 defense. He's got a really high base defense, which is nice. Easy to build him up pretty high there. And 65,000 HP, so he's pretty sturdy. 349 resistance. I kind of was using him for Hydra. That's why his resistance is up there a little bit higher. And we can just take a look at his kit real quick in case you have forgot. He's got the weaken on the A1, ignores shields and block damage. We're really not too worried about that. What we really do like here is the Winds of the Pit, which gives us the shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, proportional to his defense. And then we've got the Devoted Servants, which does the block damage for 2 turns, which is really big against this boss because it can help you stay alive. So this is actually a really nice ability here. And then he's got his passive here. For each ally under a block damage, increases his defense by 5% and also does the counter attack. So pretty good champion overall. He does have a 30% defense in all battles aura that you can use. But again, we have Mithrala in the lead for that accuracy aura, and you can kind of see his masteries here. Again, anytime I use a champion in any kind of content like Hydra with him, I like to get that extra damage out of War Master to try to have to do less keys and less manual runs. So it's kind of why we have him built the way that he is. And then lastly, again, we do have Geomancer. Again, even negative affinity, he's useful on the spirit boss to help you take it out pretty quickly. And his build is the same as it was in the last video. Again, 577 accuracy, then getting that extra 80 on top of it from Mithrala's aura there. So that's kind of a look at the 5 champs we used for this one. And again, I know you may not have these champions. Obviously, having a void like Raglan, is pretty fortunate for me. I've pulled her 3 times. You can see there obviously by the +2 next to her portrait there. But you can also still use any other champions that can cleanse, as long as you can build them sturdily enough to kind of survive this boss. And again, damage mitigation is just so key here. So we have Helicath in there, obviously, who's helping us out a lot with that. Another champion here that you could try to bring in, who's really kind of fun, is Tatura Rhymehide. Now, I haven't really done much with mine in a while, but kind of with this content, I'm starting to use him a little bit more and more. Right now, he's just kind of in a basic lifesteal set, but he's kind of a fun champion. And again, he's got a nice high base defense. You can build that pretty high. We probably will re-gear him at one point or another. I was kind of using him in Hydra for the lower difficulties, just to have somebody to fill in that I could use for the block debuffs, basically. Instead of my Duchess, so I can use my Duchess on the harder difficulties. I kind of had Tatura coming in there. So he's kind of a cool champion, and you know, again, can be very helpful on this. We actually did get a blessing for him, which is kind of fun. So I've been using him a lot more. Definitely a really neat champion, and kind of an honorable mention here for the Spirit Boss. Actually, you pair him up with Helicath, that'd be kind of a pretty nice damage mitigation combo there. So just an idea to think about there, just to give you another option from a fusion champion, because we've had quite a few fusion champions here lately that are going to be pretty strong, I think, in this boss. Another good one here is Walking Tomb Drang. If you don't have a Geomancer and you fuse this guy, he actually does have basically an irresistible HP burn on the A2, and the A1 will activate that HP burn. So you can actually do a pretty good amount of damage with him. I did try him out, and he was able to work. It's a slower fight. It's a much slower fight. It's going to add a couple minutes onto it because it's not the same effectiveness with the HP burn as Geomancer has, but still a very good champion for this boss if you need that HP burn option. And he's also pretty easy to build, pretty sturdy. He's, you know, again, got a lot of HP and defense. So pretty nice champion here. You know, originally a lot of people thought he would just be a progression champion for Spider, but he's pretty strong in the Iron Twins boss as well on that Spirit Affinity. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of some other champions you could use if you did the fusion and are fortunate enough to have them. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.